fans, and welcome back to the Demonland podcast. My name is Andy, and tonight I'll be chatting with two-time All-Australian and Demon Premiership defender Stephen May about his journey from Darwin to Melbourne to the Gold Coast and back to Melbourne, earning a captaincy and becoming one of the greatest defenders in the modern game. During our chat, we had a little issue with the audio, but I managed to recover it as best I could. Next Monday, Demonland will be back live at 8:30 p.m, so please join us at demonland.com. And now, here's Stephen May. Our guest tonight needs no introduction. He was a member of the Gold Coast Suns inaugural squad. He played 123 games for the Suns and was their co-captain in 2017 and 2018. During the 2018 trade period, the D's used pick 6 acquired in the Jesse Hogan trade to Fremantle to secure his services at the Demons. Since then, he has earned 2 All-Australians and was an integral member of the Melbourne Football Club's 2021 drought-breaking Premiership team. Most importantly, though, Demonland is his proud player sponsor. Welcome to the Demonland podcast, Stephen May.
How you going, mate? Thanks for having me.
Not a problem. Stephen, you moved to Melbourne from Darwin at 16 to complete your schooling, and while playing for Melbourne Grammar in 2010, you kicked 40 goals from 8 games, including a bag of 9 goals against Scotch College. The D's are currently in the business of turning defenders into forwards. Is there any chance we'll see Stephen May lining up at full forward?
Mate, I've told Goody this probably every week for the last 3 years that I can play forward if he needs me. And it just feels like everyone else is getting a chance up forward except me. But, that's fine. I'm happy to play in defence, my role. He has, to his credit, he has swung me forward late in games where I've been able to kick a goal or two. It's only happened a handful of times, but, so I know he does have a little bit of faith in me to go there. But I think he prefers me down back, sort of keeping everything in line, and he can sort of use me as a sounding board out there. We have really good relationship with what's happening in game day, and what I'm seeing out there and what he's seeing on the bench. So, I think I can't see myself getting thrown forward, but who knows?
You were a forward when taken by the Suns as one of 2 priority zone selections from the Northern Territory. Since then, you've played the majority, obviously, of your career in defence. What was it about your game, or who at the Suns identified that perhaps you were defender material?
To be fair, when Scotty Clayton signed me as a pre-listing, so I went and sat down and had a coffee in South Yarra, and he gave me my contract, and he said he sees me playing full back, and I just laughed at him. I said, no, I'm not a backman. I've never played down back. I don't intend to play down back. If you're going to take me and play me as a backman, let me go to a club down here, because I wanted to stay in Melbourne at the time. And he goes, no, we'll just give it a go. You obviously, we've got a few forwards up there, but, we'll try it out and blah, blah, blah. Anyways, I played a few games up forward. I played okay, didn't set the world on fire, but I was only, my first year, and we're getting thumped every week, so it's not a great combo. And then Nathan Bock broke his leg, and so we lost a big key back, and there was myself, Charlie Dixon, Sam Day, and Tom Lynch all up forward. And pretty much how it happened is we all got a week at centre-half back over the next month. And stupidly, I played the best out of us 4 down back. And the Suns were beautiful. All right, you're our backman while Bocky's out. And then it sort of got to the end of the season. I was I was playing okay. I was learning a lot. I was getting a lot of goals kicked on me. We were getting flogged, so it wasn't the most enjoyable position. But at least I was playing AFL. And then Dean Solomon, my defensive, our backline coach, said, if you are willing to put in the work this summer and really buy into this position, you can be our centre-half back for the next 10 years, and you can be an All-Australian. I'm not saying that lightly, I mean it. And I just laughed. I said, mate, that's very nice. I don't think any of those things are possible. Obviously, when Bocky's back and you probably draft another key defender, I'll probably fall out of favour, and then I've missed my chance up forward as well. But I really trust Solly. I have a really good relationship with him, and I did put in the work. It was really hard. It was hard to sort of picking up the ball getting kicked inside. I was good at that. Got good closing speed. I can read the play from being a forward, but it was more just the defensive aspect, how team defenses work. And that's pretty much how it happened. Dean Solomon was probably the catalyst for that, and just probably buying in and accepting that as my new role, and sort of letting go of the forward line dream that I had as a kid.
Well, he obviously did see something in you because you did get that All-Australian, 2 of them, in fact. Um, After 6 years at the Suns, you were named co-captain alongside your mate Tom Lynch. You became the 6th Indigenous player to captain an AFL side. That must have been a very proud moment for you.
Oh yeah, it was incredible. I didn't understand their significance at the time, maybe because I had to step up pretty soon and pretty quickly before Tom and I were both ready because of Gary's shoulder, and then he's had to decide to head back to Geelong soon. So we sort of tried to put something in play. But I'd been in the leadership group for probably 4 or 5 years, and I was vice captain. So when Gaz got injured in I'm not sure, maybe it was 2015 or 16, we were acting captain anyway. So I had a little bit of experience with it, but yeah, the Indigenous part of it and being a leader and being a captain, that's probably not something we're renowned for. It hasn't been too many captains, very, very shy usually. So just to sort of break that sort of stigma and show that, like, even if you're an Indigenous player, like, you can be a leader, don't be shy. And now you're seeing more of it. And it's certainly very, as a whole of my career, that's for sure.
At the end of 2018, you made that tough decision to vacate the captaincy role at the Suns and leave the Gold Coast. Reportedly, the Magpies were heavily into you. What was it specifically about the Demons that attracted you to the club?
It was a very, very hard decision. Collingwood and Melbourne, both very, very good clubs, and at the time we're both building the right ways. Like, Melbourne just played in a prelim. And then I chose Melbourne, and then Collingwood played in the grand final next year. So I was kind of like, oh, what have I done here? We finished 17th on the ladder. I was injured all year, but the main thing was my meetings with Goody. I think my meeting with Bucks was good, and their leadership group. But when I met with Goody and Nathan Jones and Max Gore and Jake Lever, it was more about becoming a better person, and on the back of that, becoming a better player. Whereas all the other clubs was mostly about my on-field, which is awesome. But I think that's what stuck out to me personally was, hey, they actually care about you as a person, and they're interested in making you the best person you can be, and in turn you become a better player. So the other really big sticking point was the playing list. I thought Melbourne had all these young guns who were all signed at the time, which was really important. I didn't want to come in and they all left, and just that premiership window, and then being able to be a part of that team that delivers that premiership after such a long drought and a curse, and all that sort of history. That's something that stuck out to me. Is like, wow, like when I was at the Suns, I was thinking, imagine being a part of the team, first premiership team or for a new club. And I just felt if that was to happen, it was going to be after my time was done there. Whereas the Melbourne one, you guys just played in a prelim and had a very good list, and we're building nicely. And I thought, I can slide in here, play a role, and hopefully have a hand in, winning their next premiership. So it turns out to be a really good decision.
It certainly was. That move to the Ds, obviously, as you said, was a successful one. Since joining the Ds individually, you've earned 2 All-Australians. Collectively, as a team, you famously won the 2021 Premiership. And as the fullback, you were an integral part of that season and the drought-breaking flag. Was that the pinnacle of your career, and is the hunger still there for more?
Yeah, certainly the pinnacle. Like, to play in a premiership that was my single. Actually, my single goal was just to play one AFL game, so I could tell everyone back home that I played AFL. That was
nice.
But once I'd done that, I refocused and changed my goals, and just the idea of. And to be honest, it wasn't to play in the premiership. I wanted to play finals. I'd never played in a final. I'd never played a Friday night game. No big game. So to come to Melbourne and play, the Queen's birthday to Anzac Eve, and then be a part of finals like that, even just playing a Friday night, like that was the big carrot to me. So to win the flag for Melbourne, break the drought, and that was just it doesn't get any better. But the thing is, as you say about the hunger, is once you've had that, like, it's addictive, and you just want it so much more because you know what it feels like. I guess when you haven't experienced it, it's hard to know what you're missing out on. It's just sort of in your imagination. But thinking back, and we talk about it all the time, that grand final, that week before it, the weeks after it, it is just like something. It's hard to describe, and it makes you want it more than the drought. Like last year, we thought we had everything, and we fell away and lost, and got not eliminated in straight sets, and it just was so hurtful. Feels like we're wasting opportunity. We speak to coaches and they say, you don't know how good this list and this opportunity, it's a small window, it's so hard to win in the AFL. So don't leave no stone unturned. So that's sort of where we're at right now. And I think last year was probably, I'm trying to make positive out of this, but what we needed after coming off such a big high, like a bit of a reality check. I feel like we're building the right way to set us up to actually win our next flag and not just make the finals again.
Is that disappointment of the straight sets driving you even more this year?
Yeah, to be honest, it was embarrassing, mate. Like to go 10-0 to start the year and finish in the top 4 and, be the best defensive side, like tick off all the KPIs we have. And then, to go out in straight sets against a team like Brisbane, who we'd had the wood over.
Yep.
We'd played really well against them. We probably got a bit complacent. Just shows like if you're a little bit off in the AFL, in particular in finals, you get your ass handed to you. So it was definitely a reality check, but it wasn't a deflating moment in terms of we lost belief. It was more like, geez, we need to be, we can't take anything for granted. We can't get complacent, and every win's valuable. We talk about last year, we were winning games and we were walking off the field and feel like we lost because we didn't win perfectly the way we wanted to. And it's not until you have a loss, like we lost to Essendon a few weeks ago, where you're like, gosh, we just need to get those wins and bank them now, because you need to build towards September rather than leave everything in the tank in the first few rounds and then, sort of be running on empty come the end of the year.
The hammy injury going into the grand final, how bad was it? I know the medicos kept you in the dark about the extent of the tear at the time, but were you ever a chance not to play in the granny in terms of how you actually felt? Can you take us through those 2 weeks from the injury in the prelim leading right up to and including grand final day?
Yeah, well, when I heard it against Geelong, I kept playing and I didn't feel great, but I didn't know, obviously, the extent. And Goody just said, if you can give me a half and we can, the game gets out of balance, because he just wanted me to play on Hawkins and try and just take him away from the ball. And then we ended up kicking away and having a big score. So we were able to sub. I don't know, was there some? Yeah, I got subbed. So I felt pretty good, because I kept playing after I did it. Like, I didn't think it was very, how bad it was. We had 2 weeks till the granny. And then they sent me for scans and I said, I don't want to get a scan, because if there's something there and you don't pick me because of that, like, it will kill me. And they said, how about this? We'll do a scan, but we won't tell you the results. So you can just prepare for the grand final and rehab it and get it right and put your hand up for selection like you normally would. We will get to see it so we can best help with the rehab, but we won't tell you what it is if that's going to help you, because if they had told me what I actually had and it was a grade 3 hammy, which is like 12-week injury,
wow,
like there's no chance I can play. You know what I mean? Like in my head instantly, I'm like, well, I can't play. What am I doing? Like, I can't walk out there. So I'm glad they didn't tell me. It was every day I had to do cryotherapy every day. I had to do 3 times in the pool every day. I had to do all these little tedious exercises every day to slowly build the strength and resilience back in the tendon, because that's what I'd snapped. And it was a race against time. Like, I could tell Goody wasn't very confident, because every time I'd see him around the hotel, he wouldn't really make eye contact with me and sort of walk past me pretty fast. And I was kind of like, this being really giving me nothing. I don't really know what's going on here. But I think he knew the extent and was thinking he's got a massive decision to make in terms of, play a key defender and risk him getting injured early and we lose a really important player in an important position, or back me in. So I think he was pretty torn, because, like I said, he's never really given me so little when I was injured. So, I think to get through and then to find out in the game, I actually didn't feel too great, to be honest. The first half, Norton picked up this ground ball on me and snapped the goal, and I looked at Jakey Lever and I was like, man, I think I've made the wrong decision here. And then the alternative was to not let the ball hit the ground and keep it in the end, spoil it, and not have to do that again. So I think after Bont kicked his 3rd goal in the 3rd quarter, I sort of said, stuff it. I don't care if I rip it off the bone. Like, I'm just going to play properly. And then I actually took a couple marks and started running better. And I think it was that little barrier I needed to get through to believe that my hammy wasn't, that I was capable of doing it. I was probably playing a bit safe because I was nervous about it. and nervous about getting subbed early and then having to use that, potentially cost us the game. So there's a lot of demons going through my head, no doubt. But I'm just thankful that the boys up the field, the mids and the forwards, just turned it on in the third, and thankfully us defenders didn't have to do a lot, and I was able to get through the game.
Your Indigenous heritage is obviously an important aspect of your life, both personally and professionally. You play for a club that places a great importance on the well-being of its Indigenous players. They're pioneers of promoting Indigenous culture and heritage, changing the club's name to Naarm being a great example. As a non-Indigenous Australian myself, it makes me bloody proud of our club being at the forefront of promoting social issues, particularly those within the Indigenous community. How does it make you feel being associated with a club that's like that?
Yeah, I got to admit, when I got to the club, I couldn't believe how advanced they were with their education and their reconciliation action plans, the awareness that they put on Indigenous, and Sir Doug Nichols round, and yeah, like it's just a great. We have a great group of players, but our staff as well. Everyone embraces it. So, yeah, I'm just really grateful to be a part of this footy club, and the fans get behind it. And I just think we've got a great sort of history with Indigenous players down here, so they've sort of paved the way, and I think they've probably had a lot of trial and errors for those boys, which is able to. Matty Whelan heads up our Indigenous liaison officer at the club, so he's really good at conveying. Giving those messages between Indigenous players and the sort of the front office who probably don't understand some of the issues, personal issues that may come up, and raise awareness on things that need to be. So, yeah, our club is miles ahead of like anything I've sort of seen. At the Gold Coast Suns, Jared Harbrow was becoming really good in that area, and I know they're doing that really well right now because of he's in that role. I just think maybe back in the start we didn't have all the resources at the Suns to put into that area. We were just trying to get our on-field sorted and trying to get the club off the ground. So I think Melbourne, through probably the history and the years that they've had, were able to probably try and error, get things wrong, but then fix them and learn from them, and now we're in a really good place.
This season, the game plan appears to be more attacking. We're taking more risks, often going inboard, which can in turn force more turnovers, and that can have an impact on how you guys defend, and hence that results in more scoring against us. So far this season, we've conceded exactly 102 points more, coincidentally, than at the same time in both 2021 and 2022. Now, we've had a very unsettled backline this season. You've missed 2 games. Jake's missed a game. Petty's been switching from defence to forward to defence and back forward. Hibbard's missed 3. Salo's been out all season. Are these higher scores against us a result of an unsettled backline, or are they a result of a more attacking game plan, or perhaps a bit of both?
Oh, no, definitely a bit of both. Obviously, if you can have your back 6 or back 7 playing every week together, you build that continuity. But we've played a lot of footy together, so we can still hold it down. We've actually been pretty poor in defending our back 50 to start the year. Proved that in the last couple of weeks. But you're right. We are just boring with our ball movement, and you've got to keep to get something. So if we're going to take a few more risks, and as you can see, we're scoring a lot more, teams aren't going to allow you to do that all game. So they're probably going to make an adjustment, to make a couple more turnovers, and then they have more room to attack on the way back. So certainly, we've been poor to start the year in terms of how many points we've conceded. Plus, probably look after the football a little bit more, get that balance right. And if we think, it's only a small sample size, it is still a sample size, no doubt. Really bad games, which probably, help towards that 101 points you're talking about of difference. But spot all doom and gloom, I feel like we're starting to turn the dial on that. But pleasingly, we're still able to put up a good score enough that's going to win games. So definitely a bit of both. Look, Salo's a star. Be good to have him. Rick's only missed 1 game, and we needed him. We all played shotgun against Essendon, so it's good to have a week off that week. And we're telling Petty's, it's a bit of a tough one. He's flicking forward and back, but we kind of need him up forward because he's such a good competitor, and he allows those smalls to go to work. So I don't know how that's going to look going forward. That's up to the coaches. All we can sort of control is the back 50, and we got started tying that up, and I think we have in the last fortnight. And I reckon over the next month we will get a better look at how that's going before we do need to make any changes if that's what it needs to be.
Remarkably, in 2021, we only averaged 64 points against us. Last year, it was 69 points, and I assume you had targets last year and the year before that you wanted to keep oppositions down to, and given the more attacking nature of the game this year. Have you revised that target? I think we're averaging about 77 points this year, and as you said, the defence has been down. But do you have to revise that year on year?
We haven't revised it. No, we haven't. Goody hasn't said, "Hey, boys, you can concede another 10, 20 points." No, in any street, he would love to concede 0. Don't get me wrong, but if you do look around the league, the game is a lot faster, a lot more high scoring. I feel it's not just us. A lot of other teams are conceding a lot of points. There's been a lot of high scoring matches. We want to, like I said, we'll get some of our systems better. We'll be able to bring that number down a bit. But we did the Brisbane game and the Essendon game, and we conceded big scores there, and we would usually do that. So that affects us. But no, we don't have like a goal in terms of numbers. We just focus on defense, and we don't even talk about offense. Funny thing is, our offense has been off the charts this year, and we haven't spoken about it at all. So we like to be our front half team. We like to defend the ball in our front half, win it back, and score. We don't want to be defending in our back half. That means something's going wrong up the field. So there's a few different factors. I understand it probably hasn't been great to watch as a fan or as a Demon Land member. No doubt it hasn't been fun for us either down back, but we're going to fix it. We'll put some things in place, and we're confident we can turn it around.
Many opposition teams find it hard to break through our defence, but Judd McVie was fortunate enough to crack into this very talented, star-studded defensive unit. His rapid rise from rookie to Casey Premiership player to permanent fixture in perhaps the best defence in the league came as a surprise to many. He's since shown exactly why he was chosen. What did the footy department see in Judd over the break that got him the gig for round 1?
Mate, I have no idea. If you asked me last year, I would have said he probably has no chance of debuting this year, like based off last year. But his preseason, he came back so fit, came back a lot more confident. He wanted the ball in his hands, and he wasn't shy to play on the best small forwards. And his composure for a young kid is amazing. And yeah, you're right. It is hard to break into this team, and he has done that. And he's got a spot, which is not easy to do. And then to play on. Yeah, I like some of the guys he has played on this year, like Dusty Martin, and I don't know, he played on last time. Like, we've got no worries putting him on a really good small forward. He played on Jack Higgins in the first practice match where I went, wow, this guy's a player. So he's only going to get better. He's got a lot of growth just in him, and whoever, I think it was Jess Taylor, maybe found him out in country WA. As a rookie, that's an unbelievable pickup, and. Yeah, he's a great kid. He just wants to learn. He's like a sponge out there. He's just wants to be the best player he can. And they're the guys we love playing. We have a whole back line's like that. So if you have that attitude, and you come into the team, everyone's only going to try and make you better. We're always trying to be the best we can.
Disco Turner got the call up for Queen's birthday last season. Many fans were impressed with the brief glimpse we got of him. Since then, he hasn't been able to work his way back into the team, with the exception of being named an emergency. Are we likely to see more of Disco at some point?
I think you will see him at some stage. He is knocking on the door, mate. He's playing very well. The thing has been probably matchups. A lot of teams haven't really played 3 tours against us yet, maybe through their own injuries. And having this smaller back line, we were able to attack a lot more. So again, that's the same. Like, do we bring in another tour and sacrifice a little bit of run, or are we liking how we're moving the ball out of the back line at the moment and scoring? I think we're in the top 4 for scoring from our back half. Is that right, Jay? Yeah, some ridiculous, like really good. So I'm sure the coaches are looking at that and going, if we take, I don't know who it just say, for example, and I'm not saying it's going to be Trent Rivers, but say we took Trent Rivers out. Yeah, what do we lose, but what do we gain? And how does that best fit in our back line? So I want to see him play because I have never played with him. So I've only played with him at training, and it'd be good to see him. And I think he's deserving of a shot at least to prove himself. Just like we saw with Judd, we threw him in there and he was able to show us what a player he is. And so
think maybe when there's teams come up with 3 talls, he's an option, but also with Adam Tomlinson as well. Probably who's playing better out of those two in the VFL. It's a tough spot to be in. It's good for our team. It's good for Jake and I. We got to make sure we're playing well. Otherwise, we could be the ones on the way out. So it's making a healthy competition at the moment. But yeah, we love Disco. He's still got a lot to learn, but I love his competitiveness, and yeah, he'd fit right in.
Who of the current Casey crop is the next big defender to come in, big or small, who's likely to debut?
To debut, probably Deacon Smith. Yeah, he is such a competitor. He's a gun. He's been working on a lot of areas to make himself a more complete player. But he's competitive. I don't know if you've watched him play too much in the VFL, but he is just he's like a little Neville Jetta, in terms of he's strong, fast, lockdown, stingy on defense, doesn't give you anything. I think Deacon, but again, who does he come in for? It's a hard spot.
It's a good problem to have.
Great problem, yeah.
We drafted 196 centimetre Western Australian defender Jed Adams last season. How's he tracking?
Yeah, he came in with I think he just had a shoulder reco, the clean up in his shoulder. So we didn't see much of him in the preseason. He was non-contact. And he's very raw, young fella. Great attributes. He's obviously good size. He's fast. A pretty decent kick on him. He's just getting some confidence in his body at the moment, in learning the craft and learning that in the AFL you can't just be the biggest guy and win. You got to actually work on your footwork and your one-on-one craft. The game plan is another thing you still got to learn as well. So he's tracking along well. He's definitely a project for us, but he's going to be a good player one day, that's for sure.
You have a very special relationship with your car mate there, Jake Lever. Who's the real captain of the backline? And I might ask both of you that question.
We don't really have a captain of the backline because Jake deals with the half backs up around the stoppage, and I deal with the talls, including Jake, because he can't see behind him. So anything that goes wrong that I see, I tell Jake, but anything that goes wrong in front of me, I tell Jake, and anything goes wrong in front of him, he tells them. So he kind of like relays the message from, if I see something from further away, it's easy for him to be the conduit into the midfield, for example. And we're both very competitive and very highly accountable for our own movement. So there's never really an issue for me to pull him up on. On the weekend, I'd tell him not to squeeze that kick in the corridor late with 20 seconds left in the game. But that's the only thing he's done wrong all year, and I'll take that if that's it. So it's more of a partnership than who's the captain. Like we both see the game differently. I'm more one-on-one defending sort of thing. He's more of an intercept, read the play. So together we make a pretty good combo.
As a leader of the club, we see that leadership play out on the field with you guys marshalling the troops. What does your leadership look like off the field, and have you taken any one in particular under your wing to give them some extra guidance?
Well, yeah, we do a lot of work off field. For example, what Jake and myself and Harry Petty do our games, and then I see what we'd like to sit in each other's meetings with Troy Chaplin to see what we're working on, so we can potentially help on game day if we see it, rather than wait until Monday. But then there's also the young guys that we'll bring into our meetings and let them see what we're learning about, and then we do some one-on-one craft with them at training, trying to fast track them. There's a lot that goes on that behind closed doors. A lot of vision that we watch with the young players, and then obviously out on the field, teaching them, how to best mark the ball, I guess, or come forward, or whatever it may be. It's the development coaches rely a lot on us. We're not really paid to be development coaches, but they've thrown it all on us a fair bit, and we're the ones responsible for fast tracking the young fellas.
You've played on some of the great modern forwards of the great forwards of the modern game. Who would you say is the toughest one-on-one past or current players?
One-on-one?
Yeah.
I'd probably say it would be Tom Hawkins and Travis Cloak. Travis Cloak, I was young when I was playing on him, and he's a monster. He's massive. And he just threw you out of the way. It was very difficult. And Tom Hawkins is still like that. With all the rules now too, with holding and all these things, you really can't get close enough to him to do anything. And once you do, he just locks you away with he's just so big. So those two would probably be I'd love to have played on Travis Cloak when I was a bit more mature, but I was playing on him when I was about 19, 20, 21, and he just threw me out of the way. So I'd say those two in terms of just one-on-one, but just Like, they're so hard to move. They're just so big.
You would have lined up in many match sims and intra-clubs on some of our own forwards. Which one of those guys gives you the most trouble?
Probably Cozzy Pickett. No, none of them really. Probably Jacob Van Rooyen, and not particularly when I'm playing on him. Is when I'm not playing on him and he comes and gives me a massive corky, but he crashed the packs. I've had to tell him, and so has Jake, and so has Harry Petty, like, in season, don't be jumping into us at training because we got to play. But he's just so eager. I remember against Sydney in his debut, I said, mate, all the time, I said, go and do what you do to me every training session and run through someone. And, you know, he started to click for her. He started to do it. So, yeah, he's going to be a special player. That's for sure. Someone who's pretty tricky to play on is like a Bailey Fritsch because, you know, he never really wants to be in a one-on-one contest and he wants to get you out the back and make smart decisions. So, they're pretty tricky. But Tommy Mack, Benny Brown, Josh Shackey, who else do we have? Like, Maxi Gores, he's hard when they put it in a good spot and he got to sit, but not really on the lead and stuff. It's not really his go. So, we got a big bunch of a good mix of forwards, but yeah, Van Rooyen's probably the one who's, you just don't want him jumping into you.
Well, D's fans are understandably excited about the future and are salivating at the prospect of a forward line consisting of JVR, who you mentioned, and in the next year or so, young Matt Jefferson, who looks like he's got some sticky fingers. You've said how JVR's tracking. How about Matt Jefferson from a perspective of a defender who would be tasked playing on him?
Yeah, look, I haven't played on him a lot at all, really. He is very raw. He doesn't have a really good leap and good hands. He's very shy as well. So I think he's just getting through that stage of, you know, starting to believe that he's on an AFL list and that he belongs. And that's a stage that's really common with a lot of young players, especially key forwards. Like, you know, they have all these high hopes about them when they come in. And if they don't deliver straight away, people start to ask questions. But he's definitely a project for us. As you saw, Jacob didn't play last year, benefited from a full year of learning the game plan and then a pre-season. I think Jeffo, once he gets another pre-season under his belt and a bit more confidence and put a bit of size on, he's gonna be a special player because he's goal kicking, his mark, he's got all those attributes. It's just more that he needs to get the body conditioned for to play AFL footy.
Stephen, you're closing in on 200 games, all going well. You play that match in 2 weeks against the Hawks at the G. You're contracted through the end of 2025, which will bring you to the ripe young age of 33. Do you think you'll be able to go again, or is it a bit of a wait and see how the body holds up?
That's a wait and see. Today, training in the rain and cold wind at Casey, I was rethinking why I re-signed. But no, I'll get through to that hopefully. And if I'm still, I think it's more going to be better if I'm performing. Once my performances, you know, start to drop off, and I don't feel I have that belief, I guess. There'd be no point trying to run around with some of these young key forwards that are coming into the league nowadays. They'll look stupid. So, I'll try and get through this 200th first, and then think about this season, and then the pre-seasons aren't too fun. So I don't have any more left in me.
What's life after footy going to look like for you? Do you have any ambitions to coach?
I wouldn't want to be like too heavily involved. Wouldn't mind a couple of days a week doing some working with the key position players or something like that. I do love being around that sort of environment. But I'm more interested in body development in some other areas. So that I'm working towards at the moment. So who knows? At the moment, I'm just keen to bring a flag back to Melbourne. That'd be a great starting point. I'm sure it'll open up a lot of job offers. That's for sure.
Well, Stephen, thank you so much for your time today. We really do appreciate it. And as your player sponsor, we're rapt to have you on board. Hope we can check in with you again over the next few years to catch up. Best of luck for the rest of the season ahead. Good luck for the 200th game in a few weeks' time. And hopefully we see you lifting the Premiership Cup again, this time at the G. Thank you, Stephen May.
No worries. Thanks so much for having me on.
That was two-time All-Australian and Demons Premiership defender Stephen May. The Demonland podcast will be back live on Monday night at 8:30 p.m. Please join us at demonland.com. Go Demons.
Go Red Leggers.